morning, compliments of the season. This is Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. My name is Winnie for the Global. I'm in the studio. Of course, you can see him. You know, his load. Takechi Igwe. He's also a G-Cap title holder. Is a public affairs analyst. He's a syndicated columnist and a TV host. It's always a pleasure to have you on the program.
My
Of course, you're
pleasure.
looking nice. How come both of us are wearing red?
It's in the season. You know the color of Christmas. Color of Christmas is red and green. But beyond that, it's also a time to relax. Holiday season
Yeah.
and red. I don't know. Does it signify
Yeah.
anything?
Somehow royalty.
Uh-huh. I think it's popular as a reality, but
Okay,
maybe.
purple is royalty.
But whatever it is, we
Okay,
thank
maybe
God.
red is love. February,
Yes,
the
red
month of
rose.
February now, you see
Yes,
red.
red.
Everybody
That
wearing red.
is it. Red is love. And God loves us so much that He came to do. Yeah,
Welcome so much,
my pleasure. Winifred.
and viewers. Thank you so much for joining in. We are starting off with leadership, Nigeria's most influential newspaper. And leadership is leading with the story this morning on 2023 elections. It says Atiku Obi so optimistic of victory on first ballot. 2023 elections, Atiku Obi so optimistic of victory on first ballot. The story is on page 4 of leadership, and on the riders, the leading story is our candidate enjoys solidarity, support of majority of Nigerians, PDP. Labour Party insists projections show is leading. Nigerians see Kwakwaso as only alternative, NNPP. We are making inroads, says SDP. 2023 elections, I'll take it once again. Atiku will be Kwankwaso optimistic of victory on first ballot. Our candidate enjoys solidarity, support of majority of Nigerians, PDP. Labour Party insists projection show is leading. Nigerians see Kwankwaso as only alternative, NNPP. We are making inroads, SDP. That is the leading story on leadership newspaper. Yes. Of course, they can only hope.
And you know, one thing I like about politicians is
Mm.
their incurable optimism. Politicians that cannot even win their award
Mm.
would be telling you they will be the next governor of their state.
Yes.
And you know, it has been said that who is afraid of throwing a dice will never throw six.
Mm.
So it's good for their psyche to continue to hope that they can win. My own projection is that the next presidential election may not be won on the first ballot
Yes. Many people.
because when you look at it's a three-horse race. I don't know why Kwakwaso still continue to feel is in the race. Even when you look at
And
the
of course,
ANAP Foundation NOI post that was carried out early this morning, it says that Kwakwaso has 2% of the vote, 2% in terms of during the survey, whereas Obi has 23, Tinubu has 13, Atiku has 10. So for me, it's a three-horse race. Of course, Kwakwanso's usefulness may be when if the election is not won on the first ballot, and you now go into runoff, and horse trading start taking place.
and of course, you will also be able to split vote where the other candidate has a.
You can only split vote
When you
in
talk
the
about
north now.
Jigawa, yes, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe
Jigawa,
Kano, even
Kano.
Kano, Jigawa. That's
Yes, Kano,
just the
Jigawa.
only two. Maybe at most Kano, Jigawa, and Kaduna. Those are the catchment area.
Yes.
But that's 3 out of 36. So I do not believe, although it's making waves in the sense that at least if you want to count up to 4, it comes fourth. And right now,
A distant for.
there is a distant fourth, yes. So I don't know what magic Kwakwanso may think he wields because I still haven't seen much of acceptance of NNPP in the south, and not even
And
in
strangely
the
enough,
northeast.
nothing aside from his deputy, sorry, vice.
It's
From
a
Edo
running
State.
mate,
Yes,
yeah,
running mate,
Bishop Idausa.
Yes.
I don't know. Is he really a politician? I think it's just a cleric that goes himself. Just like Pastor Tunde Bakare was a running mate to Buhari some time ago. So, but give it to them. It's good to have optimism because without hope, you are not anywhere. So it's good for them to have hope, but I think they are overreaching themselves to think they will win. Any one of them will win on the first ballot. It may well happen because Nigeria does not have a system of what we call the French model of electing leaders, which is you have to score 50 plus 1. But even then, when you look at the fact that you need to have not only majority of valid vote cast, but also 25% of votes cast in two-thirds,
Yes.
and to get 24 states to back you is an equivalent task for all of the three candidates. Atiku obviously has a catchment area in the north, and there are 19 states in the north. And unfortunately for him, Benue is a tough nut to crack because of Benue governor is part of the G5. Um, Enugu now is part of G5. Abia is part of G5. Oyo is part of G5, and Rivers is part of G5. So that has decimated the chances of Atiku emerging victorious because even without the G5 breaking away, PDP has only 11 governors. Although
Yes.
governors
You know,
do
talking
not.
about G5, that is what the Punch is leading with on its cover this Wednesday. It says PDP crisis, agreed governors may endorse Obasanjo's candidate January.
There are different
That's just
reports
few
on
days
that.
ago.
So
And
some have said
the
that
writer
there
said
are.
governors at London meeting vow to back Southern presidency. Name your preferred presidential candidate, PDP dares angry governors. Good luck to Atiku if he thinks he can win without us, Bobby George.
Okay. And again, you know, another media reported that they are endorsing Obi. Another says they are endorsing. No, they are the
Sorry,
Tinubu.
Tinubu, yes.
So, but whether it's because out of the four,
Mm.
if they are endorsing a southern candidate, it could either be Tinubu or
Yeah,
Peter
oh,
Obi. So, and I read where they said they are endorsing Tinubu, they said Obi's chances of winning
it's
Pan Nigeria is slim, which is what Otoeze is also saying in his over the weekend that billionaire, Anambra State billionaire, that is endorsing Atiku because he doesn't see how Peter Obi can win Pan Nigeria mandate. But you see, in
Well, his
politics,
declaration now took another attitude when he said that when the time comes, Soludo will be
Soludo will be
exactly.
the.
Soludo will be the
I
president.
don't know
Even
whether.
that Soludo will be the president of Igbo extraction. And I was
Maybe
like,
maybe
that's
after his tenure as governor of
somebody
Anambra
will say
State,
that I see the hands of Iso. How do you, I hear the voice of Jacob and the hands
the
of
as the voice of Jacob, the hand of Esau.
Esau.
So anything can happen in politics, and never say never. But what I appreciate about politicians is their incurable optimism. That look, nothing they happen. We are in it and we win, and it does happen. Let me give you this instance why I share the optimism of some of these people. Recall that Joyediri and his deputy governor today, if they had not taken their chances in Bayelsa, they would never have been governor. Joyediri became governor by technical knockout
Yes, because he didn't
of
actually
the
win the
running
election.
mate of
APC.
David Lion, the APC candidate. In fact, if you look at the figures, I was, you know,
It was much.
it was much. It was a routing
It was
for PDP in Bayelsa.
Yes, it was.
It was a complete routing. I'm not sure out of 8 local government whether the
Yes.
PDP won
It
one.
didn't even come close to APC.
I said it was a dist for the first time.
Yes.
PDP was humiliated in
It
Bayelsa,
was.
but they got a victory through technical knockout by going to court to challenge the identity of the deputy governorship candidate of David Lyon, and they got Supreme Court decision. You get, look at the case in Imo, where somebody who came fourth
Fourth
became the governor.
That verdict is going to continue to haunt Nigerians for the rest.
So,
the rest
for
of
that
the time.
singular reason, it shows that it's not only at the ballot that you can win election. And if you can win
Because
technical,
that kind of a Supreme Court decision, the second is supposed to, if the first one is not that,
no,
the second is supposed to.
well, you have not read that decision. What was being claimed is that there was suppression of Opus Odima's vote by INEC, and when the court decided to compute those votes that were allegedly not computed for him, he came first. But even many senior lawyers have said it's a Supreme Court abracadabra. But whatever it is, I've just given these two instances that it's not always at the ballot that you can win election. You can win through technicalities. And as you have seen in the case of Doyediri and his deputy governor, reaping from the decision of the court to declare the candidacy of the running mate to David Lyon as inappropriate. And look at even the case of Kogi, what brought Yahya Bello in the first place. Did you know that the entire people who voted for Yahya Bello in the supplementary vote were just about 16,000? The bulk of the vote was cast for Prince Abubakar Audu before his death. But yes, it was just in a few words that they said there was violence. And what happened? Eventually, the court ruled, Supreme Court ruled that when you cast your ballot, you are not casting for individual, but for the party. And that was how Yahya Bello, who came distant second, this as in distant can be. You know, I don't know whether he had up to 10% of the vote at the party primary. But the party decided to push him forward after the death of Prince Abubakar Audu. And that was how today an Ebiraman is sitting as the governor of Kogi State. So when you look at these three instances, never say never. Anybody can be president through the ballot or through technical means, because the rest assured that those four candidates or three, out of the four, if we say there are four frontline candidates, three of them will go to court to challenge whoever becomes president.
Of course, definitely. They are going to do
so, and because the court has now been awarding victory now, so anything can happen at the judiciary.
Exactly. Judiciary, the CJ has to rein in the judges before part of that time.
I just hope so. This has been today, let me just digress a bit, Winifred. Recall that today, when we say there is staggered election in Nigeria, if today we say that all governorship elections are not held on the same day, it's as a result of judicial intervention. In Ondo, in Ekiti, in Oyo, in Ondo, Ekiti, Osun, in Edo, in Anambra, in Imo, and even now in Bayelsa that we talked, and Kogi that we talked about. It's because of judicial intervention, where people who won were robbed of their victory. At the end of the day, the court reinstated, and the tenure of the newly declared victors starts from the time they were inaugurated.
Yes.
So don't put anything beyond politics. Anything can happen in politics. A dark horse can end up winning the presidency in 2023.
Thank you. The Nation newspaper is sharing news on the cover today. The government raises hope on salary increase for workers in 2023. Government raises hope on salary increase for workers in 2023. Move to caution rising inflation effects, says Ngige. Presidential Committee on Salaries is already reviewing the salary structures and is expected to come up with salary adjustments in the new year.
Why did you call it in good news?
good news in the sense that at least workers can now smile
Does that include
with
you?
increase. No, at least
So you're happy
no,
for your
the fact
colleagues
that
who
you
are
are not
working.
beneficiary does not mean that you should not rejoice with those that.
Okay, you are rejoicing with those, but really, um, I don't think it's either here nor there. Much as public servants will want a salary increase, but is that the solution to our inflation? Is that the solution to our rising cost of goods and services? The answer is no. Today, even if the salaries are adjusted to 50,000 naira minimum wage, it doesn't mean that the lives of civil servants will be any better. Because recall that even when workers were being paid 18,000 minimum wage, many states could not still pay. Now it is 30,000. Half of the states are not paying the minimum wage of 30,000. So even if you adjust the salary, it's only federal workers that are most likely going to benefit, and maybe workers in Lagos, in Rivers, Delta, maybe one or two other states. So at the end of the day, Kaduna so wealthy? Don't deceive yourself. I think Sanwo-Olu has even increased salary, worker salary, even without this. So what I'm saying is that it's not Yahoo and throwing more money at people. It's the purchasing power of the money that matters. Could you believe that I was in the pharmacy to buy something we used to buy for 2,000 naira, and it told me 6,400. I was like, I ran away. I purely ran away because it's not like a matter of life and death. So I said, this thing I used to buy 2,000, and now you are saying 6,400.
I went to buy Ghana must go back to pack things and the price they covered. I was like, something that used to be 1,150. Now they told me it's 4,500.
You see, so what I'm saying is that the purchasing power, even okay, the vehicles we used to buy, 1.8, 2 million, 2.5 million, now it's 6 million, 7 million. But how many people can afford it? Rent has gone astronomical. Today, in a decent accommodation in Abuja, if you are going to get a 2-bedroom, decent, you'll be ready to pay 1 point something million. Start from 1.2, 1.7, 1.2.5 million. And we are not talking of Abuja, Maitama, Sokoro, we are talking of the suburb, in the satellite towns. That's where, so when you now have a very weak naira with weak purchasing power, even more money will not solve your problem, because school fees will increase. I mean, they will also adjust their set. Market men and women. The other day, you want to buy tomato, they said there is no 200 naira tomato. It starts from 500 naira. Just imagine.
It's a terrible situation, actually.
So, at the end of the day, I feel we need to improve on production and in strengthening the value of the currency, so that even if you are earning 30,000, that 30,000 can buy you goods and services that can last you till the next salary. Not that you are earning 100,000. Our money is becoming like Zimbabwean dollar now.
That's so much advertisement to the market. Well, without wasting much time, I also want us to take another leading story in most of the major papers today, and that is the killing of that Lagos lawyer. Slain lawyer was pregnant with twins, and that is what the papers led with. My daughter, pregnant with twins, died with her glory, and that is the punch. The nation also has similar stories. Slain lawyer was pregnant with twins. And on leadership, Lagos lawyer, justice must be done, says PMP. And same thing with Vanguard newspaper. Slain female lawyer, my daughter was pregnant with twins. Mother.
In fact, it saddens me.
Police extradition killings.
It saddens me when I read earlier today that the lady, 41-year-old, is pregnant with twins. And what's more, this circumstantial death is really very nauseating. In fact, when I first read about this, I lost appetite for life.
Even me.
I just like, okay, so somebody went to church. They went to church on Christmas
I
Day.
read that she's even a Sunday school teacher.
Exactly, in Redeemed Church in Banana Island. She's a Sunday school teacher. She went to church, did Sunday school, then they were coming. She suggested to the husband, since today is Christmas, let's just buy some stuff at the eatery. The sister-in-law was there, the both family, they were all there in the vehicle. And they were just, they've already gotten to where they should turn to their house. You know, it's like that place where you have to go and make you turn. Maybe your house is to this side, you are coming from this side. You now have to go far beyond where your house is to go and make you turn to now come to your own junction to enter. That is it. And there was no record of any argument.
That he just opened, and the husband even said that he also tried to also call the door at the sister.
At the sister-in-law, when the sister-in-law went to lock him up, so many things made me sad about this lady.
I wonder how many people he may have killed over 33 years. Remember they said
yes, 33.
This one was just in the public.
Did you know what even shocks me most? This lady just left litigation to go into property law. She just established one company with somebody and another company of her own dealing in real estate, which means she's making huge money. 41-year-old, pregnant with twins, and you just not fly her to far. Not that she was sick and rushed to the hospital. Not that she was traveling night and was abducted by a kidnapper. They couldn't pay ransom and they killed her. This one was just too much of a cheap death. It's like saying somebody. I said the husband was the one driving, from what I read. The husband said the policemen were asking people to park or something. And he was going to park.
Just open fire.
And you just open fire on the side of the other side of the driver where the wife was seated. And the man said, just raising her head, he said he saw the wife in the pool of her blood. 7 months pregnancy. In fact, it's tragedy raised to power 3. 3 people dead in one soul. Even if they kill this Vandy or whatever is his name, does that compensate for the level? And at the end of the day, what they will charge him for is manslaughter.
These extrajudicial killings in police, it's high time, it's one too many.
It's one too many. And somebody said that same place, somebody was killed 2 weeks earlier.
Yes, I read it.
Extrajudicially. Two people have died in that Ejuwe or Ajuwe police station. And you know, this is my worry. Our law enforcement
across the country, that is the same situation.
He says Southeast. That is why the Southeast scenario is even worse. Because when you see unknown government eating and killing police, in fact, there is one that happened even in Kogi State last week where they say unknown government killed 2 policemen at checkpoint. These are why some citizens take laws into their hands and deal with the police. That Shebi, you know how to keep people extrajudicially. Anytime we see you, people will kill you. And this was part of what led to NSAS protest in 2020.
Oh, yes, exactly.
It's so sad.
That's what led to
it. It is very sad.
And the same situation we still have at hand 2 years after. I don't know what to think about it.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot that needs to be done with reforming the Nigerian police. I am fully in support of mental evaluation. Maybe every 6 months, all policemen that will be deployed on roadblock and checkpoint should go for mental evaluation. If you are not going to be in the,
it's true, because we won't see situation.
Some people are sick; they won't know.
Police, they open fire on their fellow colleagues. Yes, I think about a few months ago we read the story of that.
No, this is something that happened to a former classmate of mine. He was an ASP. I don't know whether it was DPO of that police station. In Yobe, Soji Elegbede. In Yobe, Soji was my classmate in Unilag. Now, the 2 juniors were having issues. And as the senior, person in the station. He now scolded one against the other. What you did is wrong. Now, why? That was all he did. This young corporal or sergeant, I don't know, went and brought his gun and killed this ASP in Yobe State many years ago. That was how they killed Sojele Bede, 44. Just because he tried to mediate and scolded one for the others. Even you judge this case now. You are wrong now. He said, hey, I'm wrong. And he went for his rifle and chased the guy with his hand and shot him dead. So it doesn't even happen within the police itself. Because of all this, sometimes they are under the influence of alcohol, sometimes they are under the influence of smoking and all of that. But I empathize with them.
Most times I see people arguing with police. I'm like, are you okay? I'm wondering if the man is okay arguing with a police.
Arguing, particularly if he's I don't know, was it police or a general that was killed in one of the barracks in Lagos by a drunk junior officer?
Okay.
That one was drunk.
Yes.
And went and hit the general, brigadier or major general, and killed the guy. So what I'm saying is that there is a need for periodic mental evaluation of our law enforcement agencies, whether they are DSS, police, army, navy, air force, or even civil defense. Anyone that is carrying weapon, including the road safety, because now they carry weapon. Some of these people, the moment little provocation or disagreement
sets them up.
Sometimes they want to park here. You say, okay, I can't park here. Look, this is express. Let me move. So it's so annoying. And I just wonder, if this lady were not to be a lawyer, will he have generated the kind of rate that is generated? Because the guy that was killed there 2 weeks earlier, nobody heard about it until this one happened. Now, because this one she's a professional, and she's a woman, she's pregnant, she's that same spot. They said 2 weeks earlier, somebody else was also extrajudicially murdered. But the outcry wasn't this. If I thought there was any, now the IGP has issued a statement. The police commissioner in Lagos has issued a statement. NBA has issued a statement. Even the president has issued a statement. All because of the high-profile nature of this extrajudicial. Every life should matter, and it's so sad that we continue to. And this is why some people are just buying. If I can use that word, they just want it. But in US, we also have Black Lives Matter, arising from the extrajudicial murder of George Floyd some years ago. So it's not peculiar to Nigeria that we have this kind of extrajudicial thing. But wherever it is, human rights abuse is not to be tolerated.
From police, security agencies that are supposed to protect lives. Anyway, from there we are moving on to Vanguard. We're looking at their headline story. After years of neglect, primary healthcare centers collapse nationwide. That is Vanguard newspaper. After years of neglect, primary healthcare centers collapse nationwide. Most lack basic infrastructure, personnel, and drugs. Only 6,000 functional in total. Declare emergency in primary healthcare, NMA. Uncompleted primary healthcare abandoned after gulping 14 million naira in Ondo. FCT, only 30 PHCs adequately equipped. 60% of PACs in Lagos defunct. Commissioner.
No, this is an investigative story by Vanguard, and it's a shame of a nation. Primary health care centers, PAC as we call them in short, are supposed to be under the local government.
Oh yes.
Unfortunately, they have collapsed, as Vanguard report has shown, because of many years of neglect. I recall that during the COVID-19 vaccination last year, most of these PACs were centers where people were asked to go and get their vaccination. I actually got my own vaccination
in a place
in the PAC, yes, in the primary health care center
in Abuja.
in Abuja, yeah, in the suburb, Alaji. That's where I got my vaccination. So, both the first and second. Now, are we thinking right by abandoning this primary health center? This is a center that should take off the bulk of
Yes,
health
health issues.
health seekers, because most of the sicknesses that people take to general hospital, take to tertiary hospital, are things that could be treated at PHCN level. Malaria,
Yes,
typhoid, cholera, dysentery,
health counseling
all this,
services.
this even
Delivery.
delivery,
It's not-
cesarean section
it's
and all of that.
can
You are supposed to
adequately take care of
exactly
delivery.
if you have a well resourced PACs, they can take delivery even for cesarean section
Nurses
and all
can
of that.
take delivery. It's not even
But
for a doctor.
unfortunately, we have allowed them to collapse because well resourced, no personnel, and upon everything, insecurity.
And this autonomy too. State governments are not ready to let go.
No,
Because-
insecurity has also led to their collapse. If you know the locations of many of these primary health centers, they are in the rural communities. Which doctor or nurse qualified will want to go and live in that kind of community where some bandits can come and just raid everybody up? Because there is poor illumination in and around, the places are usually overgrown with weeds. And you want people to run shift and have night shift. When some doctors in tertiary hospitals are even being molested by relations of sick people. So there is issues around insecurity, there is issues around lack of welfare, because there are PSCs, primary health centers, are supposed to be under local government. The local government, as we know, is comatose because the governors simply collects the allocation under section 162 of the constitution, which set up a joint state local government account. So the money goes to them, and then they just will give the chairman of the council money for salaries, go and pay salaries, and then take this 5 million as interest, and then the rest is spent on their behalf by the government. And this is also what has killed primary education in public schools, because primary schools are also supposed to be under local government. Primary schools, primary health centers, then Trunk C Road, the rural community roads are supposed to be under local government. But we have killed local governance in Nigeria.
But apart from, if I may also add, too, apart from primary schools, this primary health care, the populace also contributed in making it collapse. How? Primary health care centers, like you mentioned, those are supposed to take care of all these primary illnesses and all those stuff, even take delivery. The pregnant woman, somebody that would prefer to just go straight to Wuse or even go to National Hospital to go and give birth.
It's because
So
of lack of
these
trust.
primary health centers are not actually being patronized.
How would you patronize where there are no human and material resources?
Secondly,
Consulting
for this
clinics.
human resources, that is the essence of National Youth Service Corps, to go to all these rural areas to teach and send doctors to this primary health center. But these doctors will know what to do.
When your son grow up, let him go to Igwebe local government and be a doctor in one rural community.
They don't want to go there.
Who wants to go there?
So
Even
that leads to the collapse of this.
Winifred, you are making a
Do you know
point.
that when the federal government even wanted to intervene in this maternal death and infant mortality issue, they had to go and bring up all these retired nurses to employ them and deploy them to all these primary health care centers. Then that was how many years ago? That's at the end of the day.
Have you seen statistics, Winifred? Have you seen statistics of the number of medical personnel that have left the shores of Nigeria within this year, 2022 alone? That is the problem. Most doctors have jackpot, most nurses have jackpot, most of science lab laboratory technicians are in UK, they are in Saudi Arabia, they are in Qatar, they are in.
Even IT specialists too. Most of these banks.
That is why we are having this very dismal performances by banks now. The ICT department of banks have lost 80% of their personnel. Many of them have run to Canada. So this is the brain drain. This is part of the effect of brain drain we are seeing on the primary health center. Now, somebody is posted. You are, I did a course in the university, local government administration, and we were taught that no local government, because of lack of autonomy, cannot attract the best personnel because they are not paying competitive salaries.
Yes.
How would you say you want to go and work for a local government? A local government that is owing salaries for a whole year. I recall that when Oshiomhole was governor of Edo State, he has to help to offset the years of salary arrears of many local government workers. Even for those who are in administration, who are not even doctors, nurses, or teachers, they could not. That's why the teachers even came out and protest against the local government autonomy that would mean to move them from local government to that means to bring them from state to local government. They said no, they should not be taken to local government. And how can you have local government autonomy when this constitutionally primary education is supposed to be under local government? They said no, because the chairmen of councils are not paid. And you know what also is afflicting these local councils? Only Lagos has council tenure that is similar to that of governor and the president, which is 4 years. So if you are made a chairman of a council in Lagos, you have 4 years. Every other state, the best is 3. Most is 2 years. So somebody who spent millions of naira to campaign to become chairman of a council, in 2 years, as he was just stabilizing, they say another election. Then they will say, no, you cannot go for another term. It's our turn in this. So the people who spend millions to contest election only will look after their own well-being. They know that they don't have security. There have been many states where they were just even dissolved, where councils have been dissolved because a party has changed hands at the state level. I don't know if you get my point. I do. Where some governors will just dissolve local councils of their predecessors because, like in Osun State now, the court has even invalidated the election that was conducted in October by the former governor Oyetola in the state. Millions of naira, spent. So the councils in Osun State now are headed by non-elective officers. So is it in that kind of situation you now say you are a primary worker, a primary health worker, or primary school teacher, and you think somebody will be thinking about your salary? These people are going to be thinking about how they can survive the murky waters, how they can recoup their electoral investment, knowing full well that it's just 24 months that they will spend in office. And with the people in the grassroots also breathing down their necks because they know their homes, they know their families. They line up. Somebody was showing me the picture, picture of footage of people who went to queue in Tinubu's house for Christmas present. They spent kilometers. In Bodilon in Lagos. The lady, it was a lady voice I heard. She said, look, I'm driving. This is Bodilon. This is Tinubu's house. Thousands of people who went to queue. So how will he not take bullion van to go and settle them? So meanwhile, you are a local government chairperson. Maybe you spend 15, 20 million to contest that election. At the end of the day, you have 24 months, just 24 months from start to finish of your tenure. You'll be looking at this money that I invested in this election. How do I recoup it? So payment of staff salary, renovation of roads will not be your priority. It's about what can I get? Because we have made politics to be an investment in Nigeria.
Yes.
It's an investment. It's like a business. So if you put in 20 million, you want to reap 200 million, 100 fold of whatever you put in. And that's why there's no development across the length and breadth.
So what is the
Coupled
way
with
forward?
the way forward, the answers are there. We need to reverse governance in this country. There's so much lopsidedness. You get, there's lopsidedness in the governance structure of this country. Up till this time I'm talking to you, there's no local government autonomy. This night's National Assembly, they have passed the local government autonomy bill. Since the beginning of the year, they sent it to the state for concurrence. The states have not sent their returns. And I'm sure from the look of things, there will be no constitutional amendment ahead of the 2023 election, which then means that all the billions that were spent to enable constitutional amendment has gone down the drain.
And you know, every legislative year, or what for 4 years, they always appointed so much money. About
It's
billion
1
naira
billion for each chamber.
Exactly.
Each chamber will
So,
put 1
you
billion
still see that
for
the
constitutional
next,
amendment.
next 10
10th
years, they will
National
still-
Assembly will
because
still put
we still
another
another 1 billion.
another billion.
We can't
Because
continue to
from
have
the
this.
look of things and the big battles between the state assembly
And the
and the
national.
it seems that this constitutional amendment is dead on arrival.
Because it's just 5 months to go.
It's not even 5 months. By the time the National Assembly passed the budget today, 28th, they are going on recess till after the election. You get now, because for their colleagues who have gotten the ticket, if you intend to return in to the Senate or House of Reps, you have to go and campaign, and it's less than 60 days to the next election. It's just like 58 days to the next election. So will you come and sit in Abuja when your opponents are there, mobilizing support across the country? So I tell you for free, they will not do anything on constitutional amendment. And after the election, those who lost will be so bitter that you will not even see them coming to the chamber. only those who managed to win, you will see them. And they may not form quorum
We
again.
still have another paper to go, and that is the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian also has an investigative story on his cover. It says Hope deems as 15.9 billion naira Nigerian air lands in court. Hope deems as 15.9 billion naira Nigerian air lands in court.
Unfortunately,
Yes, can I have zoom on that?
you see
Mrs. Ceased take off. That's ceased take off. Wow. Federal government in desperate move to salvage unpopular venture. Buhari's 2015 pledge. Local airline operators, aviation unions divided on prospects. Analysts seek urgent review of model for sustainability. Ruto to sell loss-making Kenya Airways. I'll take the leading story once again. Hope deems as 15.9 billion naira Nigerian air lands in court. Mrs. Ceased take off. That's 8 years.
6 years of attempt to
Federal
take off.
government in desperate move to salvage unpopular venture. Buhari's 2015 pledge. Okay, venture. Buhari's 2015 pledge. Local airline operators, aviation unions divided on prospects. Analysts seek urgent review of model for sustainability. Ruto to sell loss-making Kenya Airways. Wow. Hope James. And this December they were supposed to flag it up because that was the magic
Their flag up. They said
the airline.
They went and chose Ethiopian Airlines as
yes,
the
and the
preferred bidder.
airline.
And the airline operators went to court.
Yes.
Now that. I don't know why we even need this. If not for national pride, what is in is Nigeria here, Nigeria, Ethiopia here? Because you have given this thing to look. Ethiopian Airline is a public venture. Why is it working in Ethiopia and it's not working in Kenya, and it's not working in Nigeria? It used to be that only Nigerian Airways were taking pilgrimages to Mecca and to Jerusalem for many years. But we granted it through this issue of paddy, man no man. This one will give free ticket to their concubines and their girlfriends and their wives. And at the end of the day, they ran the Nigeria Airways agreement. My uncle was a victim of that Nigerian Airways. When initially retrenched, after being retrenched, they failed to pay their salaries and emolument for many years. The man is sick now, seriously suffering from illness. Now, you want a preferred builder and you have to go and engage Ethiopian Airlines. Even for national pride, does that sound well to you? Ethiopian Airlines is not a private venture. We did one with Virgin Atlantic Airlines. The man ran away when they wanted to run him a grant with all these lobby, Ministry of Aviation and public officials, senior public officials will be claiming wanting free tickets on international routes and all of that. The man said, look, if I'm doing business like this, I will not be one of the successful airline operators globally. That's how what is his name? Richard Branson. That's why he left Nigeria. And I don't know why we even made this a campaign promise. Earpiece is already flying international routes. So, and we have international airline operators in the system. Already, look at the challenge that those ones are even facing. They pay the forex that, we have discussed it on this program. The foreign exchange that British Airways and Lufthansa and all of them, that's supposed to accrue to them. They didn't get it. That's why some of them suspended operation on Nigeria routes. So if you now bring the Ethiopian Airline, what is the assurances that they will not suffer similar fate? That at the end of the day, you will fail to remit their money, their forex back to them. And we should be ashamed that another African country is running its own airline successfully. To the extent that and look at Kenya here, look at Ethiopia here. Now William Ruto wants to sell off Kenya here because it's making loss. Nigeria has happened to Kenya. So we should be. I don't know. That's the argument. We say government has no business in business. Government has no business. If government has no business in business, why are we bringing in Ethiopian Airlines to come and run our own?
However, this airline operators of Nigeria, AOM, they were there when they were planning to. The bid was being run to concede this Nigerian air, and they didn't apply. Only for them to wait. They just obviously sat on and was waiting. And by the time Ethiopian Airlines was giving the bid, that's when they now came out to say no, and now went to court. Yeah,
the court has not really made a pronouncement. No, it's just that there will be delay. There could be delayed. If the whole exercise follows due process, Ethiopian Airlines may still get to fly Nigeria routes as it were. But it's just that this should have been taken. I don't know whether it was taken to National Industrial Court.
So at the end of the day, as the Guardian said, 15.9 billion will go just like that.
This one is the cheapest now. Do you know how many trillions have gone down the drain before? So you are now crying over 15.9 billion. This one are chicken change to Nigerian government officials. TB is stamp duty that they cannot account for. How much has been collected in stamp duty that somebody is saying it's over 80 trillion and they say no, it's not that, it's not up to that. Now, what is the actual figure? They just said the man exaggerated. Okay, if he exaggerated, let's have the official figure. Somebody, Emefiele said somebody, one of his deputies, to go to the National Assembly, and then they asked the lady, how much did you spend on the redesigning of the Naira note? The lady there said she does not know. And another news report has it that we possibly spent 800 billion on the redesigning and the printing of new Naira. Yet you and I don't know whether you have some new Naira. Yeah,
no, I'm not. Banks are still dishing out old Naira notes.
Maybe politicians have mopped it up. So when that's the culture of corruption and mismanagement of resources that have permitted
Deputy
it.
Governor said she's not aware.
She said she's not. She doesn't know how much went into the whole thing.
Well, I learned that they printed about 500 million
Pieces
yes.
or what of? Because we are talking about.
They said pieces.
If they've printed 500 million pieces, then all the banks should have it. By now, the entire economy should have been saturated with the new naira note. I have not received it. I've done POS transaction. I've used ATM. I've not been. They said they are reconfiguring the ATM machines to.
No.
But what were they looking for almost 3 months that the announcement was initially made? Okay, if you cannot do it through the ATM, can we get it on the counter or through POS? At least that one is not counting. But it's not just
even on the counter, it's still old news that they will give.
And they want to say that by January 15th, I mean January 31st, that the old naira note will cease to circulate. When 52 weeks into this whole thing, nobody seems to have. Many people, not let me say nobody. Many Nigerians are yet to even receive the new naira, and let alone knowing the security features of this new naira note. We got that Nigeria. We just hope for a better 2023.
And Buhari has been telling us that he will not hold on a day more.
It's not he's running away from Abuja that he will even go and sit in Daura with his livestock and be having his peace of mind. But whether he likes it or not, we still hold him to account in May 29, 2023. God keep all of us alive.
Yes, well, viewers, we've come to the end of today's Inside Nigeria. With me in the studio has been Triple Chief, the public affairs analyst, syndicated host, and the syndicated economist. It's always a pleasure to have you on the program, and especially we are both in red today. My name is Winifred Global. I look forward to seeing you same time, same station tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.